as Lionel Messi closes in on an eighth Balon d'Or, a record number for any player in the history of football. We look back on what has been a very eventful and very funny weekend in the Premier League. Lots of highs, lots of lows, and Manchester is still blue, which is a problem if you support the Reds. That's Man United. Liverpool fans are loving it. Us fans are happy too. Chelsea don't have much to smile about these days, but who knows? Things might turn around soon. This is One Kick from Glory. I'm Clive, and it's just me and Craig here today. Yeah. And we're going to start off at Old Trafford, a Derby Day defeat for Manchester United. Another disappointing performance, another game week where things didn't quite go to plan. Craig, how do you look back on that result?
No identity FC, no style of play, no nothing. I said it last week. The first 10, 15 minutes they played well, and then they conceded a sloppy penalty. After they conceded the first goal, they didn't look like they'll come back into the game. Onana made a world class save to save Haaland a couple of times as well. The header in the first half to make it 2-0. He saved it. Half time, the manager made a change. He brought on Amrabat and brought on Mason Mount at half time to see if that would change the game. It wasn't effective at all. Didn't work. He played McTominay in the second half with Eriksen in midfield. That didn't work. Rashford had a chance to make it 1-1 when he was through one, or make it 2-1 when he was through on goal. Missed the chance. Haaland could have made it 1-1 after he gave away the penalty, but he didn't look confident in front of goal. Running, not really composed on the ball. The whole team, the whole shake-up was the team was wrong. Wrong selection of the team. He played Lindelof for left back. He could have played regular on left back. Regular did come on in the end. The defensive duo of Maguire and Johnny Evans, average age of, you don't want to know the average age. They're both. That's not. If I'm a defender or attacker going into that game, I'm licking my lip, thinking, "Yep, get a dozen goals in this game today," because the defenders I'm playing against. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one at Old Trafford right now. It's not going according to plan. Obviously, that was a heavy defeat as well to their local rivals. It's a commanding performance from Erling Haaland. Could have had more, but 2 goals is enough. I wanted a hat-trick, but hey, I'll take 2. I guess for you, looking at the performance of Man City, was it helped by Man United's poor display, or was this just another example of their supremacy in this Premier League?
Bit of both. I'll say that City didn't even go into first gear. They were in second gear all game. They could have upped the levels. They could have scored 6 or 7 or 8 yesterday if they wanted to. I think they put pity on United. They didn't want to. I don't know if they don't want to destroy their rivals' confidence, but they could have scored more goals. If City wanted to turn it up a notch, they could have turned it up a notch if they wanted to. In the end, they're just playing around with Man United. I don't think they want to embarrass them at home like they've done in the past. So I think a 3-0 win is a big win, but they could have scored more if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where it's kind of hard to see where Man United go from here. For Man City, it's obviously they're going to chase another title. They might want to look to retain the Champions League and maybe push on to win 4 trophies this year rather than just the 3 of last season. But for Man United, there's just so many question marks and issues. I know we've talked about it a lot. There was a good discussion between Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports about it the other day, and it was just interesting just hearing their perspectives, because we've heard the narrative of the ownership time and time again, that being the major factor. We've heard the argument of they've not spent enough money on players. We've heard the argument about personalities, but where do you think the failing lies for Man United at this point in time? I'm not talking about the previous managers, but current system, current structure. Where's the problem lie?
Recruitment, buying the right players. You have to buy the right players and play a system. Like yesterday, you played Bruno Fernandes on the right. He's not a right winger. He's not going to run past 20 man and do tricks and step overs and fellow crosses. He's not going to do that. He can't beat a man, and he's not a winger. He's more of a number 10 or a number 8 or whatever. They played him out on the white. When you have players like, you got Anthony on the bench, you got Garnacho on the bench. You could have played either one of them on that right wing yesterday. And he brought on Anthony too late. The game was really done. So his selection policy is not right. Recruitment's been poor. They paid all that money for Anthony. He hasn't delivered. You got Sancho, who's in the wilderness right now. He would have done a better job yesterday if he was playing. He would be up for that kind of game against his old team. He would have done something. So I feel like the club, the recruitment's wrong, poor.
He scored against them last season, Sancho.
So I'm saying he would have done something. The recruitment's poor. The manager's losing. I think the manager's going to end up losing the dressing room. Maybe he's already losing the dressing room already. I think players are getting fed up with his tactics not working. The fan base are getting fed up. Not just with the manager, with the owners as well. I know Ten Hag won a trophy last season, but that trophy was papering over the cracks. There's a lot of issues at the club, deep-rooted issues. He got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo. Everyone thought that was a good thing because of what he said in the interview. But me looking at it now, he was stating the facts. The club's in disarray. I know the way how he did it was wrong, but in a lot of people's eyes it was wrong. But he has to say what he has to say because he felt as a fan. He spoke as a fan, not as a player. What he said last week as a fan, he said what most fans want to say, but don't have the platform or the voice to say it out, and people will listen to them. He's a big character. He will say it, and people will listen and take heed of what he's got to say. So yeah, there's a lot of problems at Man United, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Even when I said to you last year, it's going to take 5 years for them to get back to the level they used to be. It might even be longer than that, club. I'm telling you, because right now it's looking very.
It's looking bleak, isn't it?
Very bleak. They can sack all the man. They've hired so many top class managers. Mourinho, they had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager. They can hire that Ten Hag as
Van Gaal.
Van Gaal as a manager. They can have all the big managers in the world. Even Pep Guardiola, if he came to Man United tomorrow, he couldn't change that team. There's a deep rooted issue, and like I don't know what's gonna happen or they need to change the ownership. They just need a whole clean up. Get rid of all of the deadwood players in the club and start from scratch. Like what Arteta did at Arsenal. It took him 5 years or a couple windows, transfer windows to get the players he wanted. Now Arsenal got that identity back and playing the right football that we want to see, entertaining football. United need to do that again because...
Let's talk about that identity in football. So I know last time we discussed this, you were talking about how just looking at the general state of play at Man United, and it's just you don't recognise them. When you think about their teams throughout history, this team doesn't look like, play like, sound like, or smell like a Man United team, right? And at the same time, when you think about what Erik ten Hag did at Ajax and the way they played, and for some unknown reason, he's not been able to bring that style of football to Manchester United. He's not brought his imprint and his own style of play. We don't recognise what they're doing from what Ajax did. Do you think the fact that Ten Hag has not been able to implement a style of play, considering when you look at what Emery's done at Aston Villa and is doing so far, what Gary O'Neill's doing at Wolves,
Newcastle,
what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle, when you think about managers that have come into team and you've been able to see what they've tried to do you think that's probably like the biggest failing on Ten Hag?
100%. I think he needs to get the basics right. Have a solid back four, solid back five, back four defenders, solid the goalkeeper, have a solid base in midfield, a good holding midfielder, have two attacking midfielders in front of him, have two good wingers, have a decent striker who can score 20 to 30 goals a season. United have not had a 30 goal season striker since Van Persie or Rooney. That's what the issue is. When was the last time you saw a Man United player be top of the goal rankings in the season?
I think Ronaldo, when he was there last couple seasons ago, was in and around it.
That's what I'm saying.
Top three.
Since them times, they haven't had a top goal scorer that can get them over the line. Rashford got 30 last season, but not 30 in the league, or 30 around all competitions. So, and he's a wide player. He's not like a number 9. He's a wide player. So him to get that was a good achievement. So I feel like they haven't got a good an out number 9 who's going to bang in 30 goals, 20 to 35 goals a season, 30 goals a season. Look at Man City, for example. They got Haaland who scored so many goals last season. That's what they're lacking. They're lacking winners. They haven't got no winners in that team, and I feel that's the issue as well.
Yeah, mentality is a problem. I think for me, just talking about Rashford, I'm just a bit, not concerned, but surprised at how little he's developed under Ten Hag. I know for a long time, I think it's probably fair to say that the manager that he developed the most under was Louis van Gaal. And you would have hoped that with Ten Hag's style of football, the way how he structured things at Ajax, he'd be able to get more out of Rashford. So far, he's not having a great season, but he looks like a person who hasn't really developed from when he really burst on the scene. Like and I remember looking at this the other day. Mbappe, he has perfected, I think, 2 or 3 type of finishes. There's one which he really does really well when he cuts in from the left and then he shoots it near post rather than going across, kind of cuts in and then just crops it the other side. So the keeper's thing is going to go to their left, which is to Mbappe's right, but he goes to the keeper's near side. He's perfected that shot. There's been so many goals that you can see him do. And with Rashford, he's got a similar type of thing he can do, which is when he kind of cuts in from the left wing and then cuts across it almost like a free kick, that Ronaldo knuckle shot. So he's got that in his locker. The thing he hasn't gotten is making that a thing where you can guarantee in a season he will get at least 10, 15 goals like that. That same shot technique. Whereas Mbappe, you can that cut inside and near post shot, you're gonna get 10, 15 goals from him this season from that shot. And season in, season out, you're gonna get that type of goal repeated. Rashford hasn't quite gotten that. What do you think the manager needs to do now? Not so much just to salvage their season, but to help him, that's Rashford, goes to the next level as a coach.
I think he needs to put his arm around. I think it's a confidence thing as well. I think everyone in that United team's confidence is low. I think he needs to put his arm around Rashford, tell him you're a good player. We're going to build a team around you. We're going to want the best for you. Just give him that confidence, I would say. Because good players don't go bad overnight. As I say, form is temporary, class is permanent kind of thing. So he will need to just put his arm around him, say, you know what, I believe in you. You're a top striker. You're a top elite striker. You played for England. You played in the World Cups. You played in European Championships. Please show me what you can do for Man United. You're a big club, big history, biggest fan base, biggest stadium in the world, in London, in England. Show us what you can do, and put more faith in him, I would say. Because what he could, on the flip side, he could drop him, and if he drops him, he could lose his confidence. His confidence get even shattered even more. So he has to be very careful how he deals with Rashford, I would say.
I guess one thing I'd say, just like thinking about when you've played football and when you've gone through slumps as a player, especially as a striker, and not getting goals, what's some of the key things that you've done personally and what coaches have kind of done with you on the training ground to help you get that rhythm back?
Just work, just continue getting to the far post, work on it and get there for corners, set pieces, whatever, get to the far post, near post, far post, work on your finishing. Don't take too much time on thinking about when you're running through one on the goalkeeper. Don't think about it, just put the ball in the back of the net, I would say.
So the big thing was about the fundamentals, like getting your positioning right, thinking about, like not thinking so much about what you're going to do when you're one-on-one, but just actually putting the ball in the back of the net. That was the thing that helps you a lot.
I'm watching videos of like, I used to watch a lot of Ian Wright videos and like people who on Thierry Henry video watch how they finish their chances and how they make the movement, off the ball movement and all that. And moving when you don't have the ball, when you're not in possession of the ball, off the ball running as well, that kind of thing as well.
Do you think, looking at how Rashford is, because I feel like, we know when he came through, he was a striker because he scored those 2 goals against us. You're welcome. But since then, there seems to be this weird debate as to what is he? Is he a striker? Is he a winger? And he's kind of weirdly falling into that Theo Walcott category of you're not quite one, but you're also not quite the other. What do you think he is at his core, and what does he need to do to really define himself in that position?
I think when he first came out, he was a striker. 100% he was a striker. I think over the years, what's happened to him, obviously he had players like Rooney ahead of him in striking position. He had, who else was ahead of him when he was there? Rooney. What was the other striker was there when he first came out? He had Falcao. Falcao was there for a little bit on loan. Then he had Fellaini playing up front as well for a little bit as well.
Yeah, Cavani was there briefly, but I don't really come out.
Then he had Ronaldo. But I feel that he kind of, I think he's been out-coached to play as a striker. His development, he's lost 2 years of development of him being a number 9, a striker as number 9. I don't think he likes playing with his back to goal. I don't think he's very strong. His strengths are more better out wide. He can use his pace and he can cut onto his right foot and he's just going to hit shots like how Mbappe does. A bit like Mbappe doesn't like playing through the middle. Mbappe likes playing wide and I think Rashford likes a space, run into space. When he plays up front, he's limited. He has 2 big defenders on him. When he runs to space, he can take on a man, play a 1-2, bang, cut in and score. A bit like Thierry Henry back in the day. Before he became Arsenal player as a striker, he played out wide. He could cut in on his right foot, bang, play 1-2 with Perez, played 1-2 with Ashley Cole, Vieira, play a ball to him, or turn the end or launch one over the top and he'll run into it and score. So I think Rashford, they need to play to more to his strengths And I think that he just needs to.
So with that, what position then? Where do you put him? Is he a striker or is he a winger? Which one?
I think he's a winger.
You don't think he's a striker anymore?
I think he's been coached out of being a striker.
I think he's still a striker personally. And the Omri comparison, I hear it, but I don't, because Omri only had a couple of seasons on the wing at Juventus. Before that, he was always a striker. I mean, at France, he did play through the middle or left wing forward, but it was with the license to go in. Whereas I think with Rashford, like you said, he has been overcoached to play wider, but I still think he's a striker there. I just think he just needs to be played through the middle and played there until he gets into form.
Yeah.
And just be told, you're a striker, this way you're going to play and not going to play wide. Because he's suffering. His team is suffering because if he doesn't get the goals, then what are they going to do?
If he went to another team, like a strong team, like a PSG or something like that, I think he's playing for the middle. Because he has players, he has better quality players, he's playing better quality players, or maybe even a bigger club not bigger, but like
A different club, yeah.
a different club, he will bag goals for them as a striker. I don't think he did that with Man United right now, because they haven't got the service, they won't get the service to him quick enough to score the type of goals he wants to score. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that he's having a poor goal scoring season. He's not really doing well at all, and you just hope that he can figure it out soon. And if not, then I hope Ten Hag has a plan to utilise him. But, one player that has definitely shown you the value of getting chances in the right position is Eddie Nketiah. He got his first hat-trick for Arsenal anyway, against a very, very poor, looks like they're relegation bound Sheffield United. I can't believe how bad that team looked. When you think about Sheffield United when they first came up a couple of seasons ago under Chris Wilder, and their foundation was built on solid defence, to see them now, it's sad. If anything, I don't think I don't know if they're going to be as bad as Derby were when they came up and went down with the lowest of a point total. But how do you look at this Sheffield United, and what do you think they need to do and learn fast to basically give them a chance of surviving?
They haven't got. I don't think in their squad they don't really have experienced Premier League players who play in the Premier League. They've
got players that were there from before, like Ollie Norwood was there. He's still there.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look through their squad. So they've got players that were part of their team,
but they saw a lot. They're good players in the summer as well. The Ndai guy went to Marseille. He scored a lot of goals for them. So they did Sander Berger, the Norwegian midfielder. He went to Burnley. So they did saw some of their better players in the summer. So
yeah, they've got a lot of young players and inexperienced players for the league. I mean, Chris Basham has played in the league before. George Baldock, I think, played in the league before.
He did play for Sheffield United in the league before.
They've got John Egan, I think this might be his first season in the Premier League. And obviously John Fleck, Ollie Norwood, like I said, those two have been there before.
McBurney as well has been there.
McBurney. But yeah, so they've got play. Yeah, you're right. The majority of their squad has no experience in the Premier League. But with that being said, you still need to have something about you. Like either you have,
fight.
you got. It's not just about the fight. But what's defining them as a team? Like you think about Burnley. Like even though they're not getting the results, they play good football, and they're trying to fine tune it to kind of make it work over there. With teams like Nottingham Forest, they've got that explosiveness where they can get a goal out of somewhere. What's Sheffield United's thing? They need to figure it out and fast. I know they've got a lot of injuries at the back, so then Austin Trusty got his first start against Arsenal. But at the same time, like they need to figure it out quickly because it's just not looking good.
100%. I totally agree.
But yeah, just looking over to Nketiah and what he did, obviously first hat trick. How pleased were you for him, and what bearing do you think those 3 goals will have for him going forward?
Well, I've been very harsh on Nketiah because I want him to do well. I've been very harsh on him, saying he needs to do better. I congratulate him for doing what he did on Saturday, getting the hat trick. And now he has to seize the opportunity and do it in every game. Not get a hat trick every game, but he needs to step up. And since Jesus' injured, step up and be the main man. If you want to be the main man at Arsenal, main man starting on that guy, and you're wearing that number 14 shirt, that means a lot to Arsenal fans and history of the club. You need to be more consistent with your goals and assists and your link-up play and all that. But I thought it was class on Saturday, top class. I know it's against Sheffield United. Everyone says only Sheffield United. But you have to beat what's in front of you.
That's true.
So he did the job, got the hat-trick. Unselfishly gave Fabio Vieira the penalty when he could have got another goal. So it shows that he's a leader as well. Got the armband towards the end as well. So it goes to show that there's a player in there, but he has to... Time is ticking on him because January transfer window is coming up very shortly. So he has to really start showing the manager that I don't need to buy another striker in January. So he needs to show what he can do now, or else January he might be third choice striker.
Who might be?
Nketiah.
Oh, if we go out and get like a Tony or...
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing what needs to be done. Obviously, I love the third goal. I love the message behind it. And I think in the post-match interview, he did say that he's been working on his shooting, especially that type of strike in training, and it showed. And that's the kind of thing that we need more of from him, because we know he's developed a lot outside the box. I've been quite positively surprised and impressed by the things he's doing in build-up play. His hold-up play is improving. His dribbling's improving. There was a couple of occasions in the match when he could have released the ball out wide a bit quicker, but he won free kicks. So there's still things to improve on. But the thing with Nketiah is that every time people count him out or doubt him, he comes back and says, "Hey, wait, respect me." Every time, and I like that about him. I like the fact that he's constantly showing us more and more to his game and more what he's about as a player. He's definitely one that you can't count out or dismiss, and I'm really happy for him. His first goal was a great little striker's goal, good first touch to lose the defender, and a good little finish into the corner. Vieira got his goal, penalty. The reason why we haven't seen him much is because he's got a newborn, so he's put a picture online of his newborn baby and his wife, so that's why he's not been around much. And of course, Takehiro Tomiyasu got his first ever Arsenal goal, dedicated to his mum who passed away last season, which kind of explains a lot his kind of form. And I think it's interesting with players, like you never really know what's going on in their personal lives, and you do kind of see it spill out on the pitch. As much as they try not to, like Ramsdale had a miscarriage last season before the derby. So you kind of, a lot of things you can kind of understand. Like football is a human, and when people give them abuse, it just really isn't nice because it doesn't take into account the context. But again, another 3 points on the board, 5 goals. How happy are you with the performance, and do you think it's good to just keep this momentum going for the club?
I think it's our best performance of the season. That and the Man City game, I would say, is our best performance of the season, I'll say. I think we need to do that every game. I don't say we're going to beat teams 5-0 every game, but we need to keep that same intensity, get goals in the first half and kill the game off early so you can make changes and you can rest some players. Because I know we're going to have Europe, then we're going to have Carabao Cup this week, then after that we're going to have FA Cup in January, then Champions League back in February. So we're going to have a lot of games in between. So I'm going to have a lot of Premier League games in coming up to Christmas as well. So you need to, Christmas and New Year, so you need to kind of balance the squad. Like some games you might have to rest Saka, some games you might have to rest Martinelli. So we need everyone fit, kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that Arteta's seemingly understood the importance of squad rotation. This thing that we talked about in the previous podcast, things that we've complained about last season about him not utilising the squad better. He rang the changes and the changes worked out. Smith Rowe came in, didn't really have the most eventful game, but he got the assist for Nketiah's third goal, so it counts. Kivior came in at the back and looked very solid. And that's going to be another important thing, and we need to rest players like Gabriel as the season goes on. Obviously, Zinchenko came in, which likely means Tomiyasu will start against Newcastle at the weekend. Obviously, we've got West Ham in the Cup first. And then obviously the likes of Kai Havertz played the whole game. Rice got rested and Elneny get some good little token gesture minutes, which was nice. But that's what you want to see from the squad. You want to see players coming in and putting pressure on others. We know what Trossard can do. We want to see more from Nelson. We want to see more of Smith Rowe. So him starting was good. We'll likely start again against West Ham in the Cup. But, and obviously the goalkeeping situation, which I think is pretty much clear that Raya is number one. Ramsdale might be able to get back in, but we'll have to just wait and see. But I think for you, what's your kind of thing that you're hoping to see from Arsenal in the next couple of games? What do you really want to see from the team? You mentioned the intensity, but what else do you want to see from them?
Just get goals, win games. If you have to win games ugly, then there's some games this season we're winning them ugly. Just keep more clean sheets, win games ugly, or win games try and just kill teams off if we can. But if we can't, then we'll just go for a 1 or 2-0 win, and then because there's going to be some hard games. I know we've got Newcastle on Saturday.
Saturday, last kick from the Saturday.
We've got Newcastle on Saturday, and they're in good form, Newcastle. So we have to bring our A game. I know they were in good form last season. We beat them last season, but this is a new season now, so they're going to be up for it. So we need to make sure we have the same intensity we did against Sheffield United, and make sure we go there and get the 3 points and get back home as quick as possible. So yeah,
and that's going to be really important. And I'm going to move on to a team that have had a very up and down season. They have a ratio of winning, then losing, then winning again. That is what Mark might call 3-point FC. It's Everton FC, Liverpool's little rivals. Nice 1-0 win away from home against West Ham. continuing on the pattern of losing then winning. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got his 50th Premier League goal, finally. It's taken him a while to get there, but lots of injuries in the way, and he's obviously looking at the other goal scorers ahead of him. But that was good for them. He is behind Tim Cahill, Duncan Ferguson, and Romelu Lukaku. So, which is not bad. But I guess just looking at Everton as a whole, like you'd hope that this match will be a kind of marker point to kind of bounce on, and we'll talk about their next game and how you think they might do. But obviously, off the back of Bill Kenwright's passing, this is a good result to get for them to kind of help kick on their season. Surprising defeat for West Ham at home, but how happy do you think Everton would be to get those 3 points and get the momentum rolling now?
They'll be happy because they've got a 12-point penalty looming, so they need to get as much wins as they can just in case they get docked 12 points. At least they can stabilise themselves and push up the table. So I thought Everton's a massive club, massive history, massive club, won big trophies in the past. But sometimes in football, everyone has their era in football, innit? Like every team has their beat. Like Man United was the 90s and 2000s, Chelsea 2000s as well, late 2000s, Arsenal 90s, 2000 to 2004 was a lot, yeah. And Liverpool their 70s and 80s. So every club has their era and their time when they win things. So I feel like Everton, what they need to do is keep Calvert-Lewin fit. That's what you need to do, 100% keep him fit. Wrap him in cotton wool, do what you have to keep him fit. If they keep him fit, they'll do well this season. He will score goals for them. Because before he had those injury problems, he was scoring goals for fun.
That's true.
And then he got that injury. That injury just messed him up. Every week he got injured. He came back, got injured. Came back, got injured. So hopefully he gets a good run of games this season and see what he can do. But I thought he'll do well for them this season. I thought Everton, if they can stay and be more competitive in the league, they can push up the table even more. So yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing if they can just keep pushing on. And obviously, like you said, keeping Calvert-Lewin fit is going to be quite important. And then just keeping that structure going, yeah, that's going to be really important for them. Do you think West Ham will be concerned about a defeat or just brush it off, bad day at the office, and then come back next week stronger?
Brush it off them next week and they get stronger. Because I think West Ham have got a new team now anyway. They've got a lot of, they sold Declan Rice and they brought in like 5 or 6 new quality players to replace him. So they've got a decent squad. Their squad is very good. So I think it was just a bad day at the office. I don't think they have to worry about anything. They'll bounce back. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes and if they can keep on going strong. Obviously, the other team which is having a really good time of it is Aston Villa, a team that always seems to impress me with their performances and what they do. They won 3-1 at home against Luton Town. No goal this week for Ollie Watkins, but John McGinn on the score sheet again. Douglas Luiz set that goal up, and then Moussa Diaby got one set up by Leon Bailey, and the third goal was an own goal for Luton Town. Emery's working his magic again. That's 12, I don't know if it's 12 wins, but that's, anyway, 12 game unbeaten run for them, which is good. How impressed are you with what Emery's done? Because I know last year we said that they were going to be the ones to watch, and Mark was like, watch out for what they're going to do this season. But how happy are you to see them continuing to perform really well as a team?
Well, I feel like Emery had a reputation in England that he didn't do well in the past when he was at Arsenal. I know he got us to the cup final, the Europa League Cup final, and it didn't work out for him at Arsenal. But there is a coach in Emery. He knows how to get these small teams. I'm not saying Aston Villa's a small club, don't get me wrong. Aston Villa's a big club. They won the European Cup in the past. But he knows how to go to these clubs that are struggling and should be further up where they are and transform them. He did it in Spain with Valencia, with Sevilla. He did it with Villarreal. He can go to these teams and he can just transform them. Like an Ollie Watkins, he can put his arm around Ollie Watkins and say, listen, you're my main guy. You're going to score X amount of goals and I'm going to train you to make sure you do it. So he got that ability where he can get the best out of these players. So, yeah. Aston Villa, I did say this season Aston Villa are going to be small horses for the top 5 or 6 in the Premier League. I feel like they've got a quality squad now. They've got players like Leon Bailey can come off the bench. They've got Tillemans who can come off the bench. They've got Diaby is a good signing. They have they've got John McGinn, Scotland leader. They've got something. They've got Martinez, World Cup winner. So they've got a decent squad, and they're missing. I know they're missing players like Tyrone Mings out for the season and all that, but they've still got decent defenders. They've got Paul Torres. They've got Konsa. So they've got a decent team. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what it is to kick on. I mean, obviously, it's important that they keep building what they're doing, and obviously Emery has worked out a really good way of getting good results and good performances out of strikers. We're going to cover that a bit more at a later date because I'm really fascinated to get into the details of that and how well he gets his strikers performing. But I guess just going back to Manchester United again, because there we saw some petulant behaviour from Bruno Fernandes at the end of the game. Not during the game, like he just took a couple of swipes at Jeremy Doku. We also saw Anthony do the same thing. It's just childish behaviour. And then we saw Fernandes really having a proper moan at the referee at the end about something that happened on the pitch. And there was a lot of debate at the time when he was announced as captain whether he was the right person for it. What's your take on him as captain of Manchester United?
He's not. He's a moany leader. Like United have always had good captains: Brian Robson, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Ferdinand was a captain for a little while. Vidic.
Beckham was captain for a bit as well.
They always have who else as well? Steve Bruce. They've always had good leaders at the club. Fernandes, he's not a captain that I would say that will put an arm around you if you're making a mistake and encourage you. He's always like, if you make a mistake, I'm going to moan at you all the time. It doesn't really help the young players in the team. I don't know who else in the club can be a leader. Like, who else can be captain? Like Casemiro? Or who else? You got Martinez. Who else? You got Luke Shaw. He could be captain, but he's always injured. You need a captain who's going to be on the pitch and he can play every single game. The only reason why I think they gave it to Fernandes is he plays every game.
Wasn't there a thing where apparently no one wanted to volunteer to be captain in the first place when players were asked and they just stood away from it and he accepted it?
Could be that as well.
Which is also pretty damning for the club. Do you think he can turn it around with his performances and help the team?
If you play him in the right position, then yeah, hopefully.
Because their next game they've got is against Fulham away from home.
Fulham have been
on
poor.
Saturday.
Fulham have been poor this season. I'm very disappointed with Fulham this season. I thought like they would kick on from last season, but they're having a very up and down season.
So that could be a game where he turns things around. Other teams that are looking for like a good bounce back. Burnley have Palace at home, so they could.
I think Palace needs a bounce back right now. They're in that kind of zone as well. They're not scoring at the moment. They scored late in the other day.
It wasn't at a time where it could really change the result.
No, the game was already done in my eyes. It was just a paper for the cracks, I would say.
All right, let's recount the Premier League table. We'll go from 20th up. So in 20th position, we've got Sheffield United on 1 point. 19th, we've got Burnley on 4 points. Luton Town in 18th on 5 points. Bournemouth above them on 6 points. Forest and Everton both on 10 points each. Goal difference separates them, so it's Forest and Everton. 14th is Fulham on 12. Fulham, Crystal Palace, Wolves and Chelsea all on 12 points. Chelsea are in 11th position. Brentford ahead of them on 13th points in 10th position. West Ham in 9th place with 14 points. Man United in 8th place on 15 points. Manchester United, Man United and Chelsea being where they are is just shocking. Even Wolves being 12th. When you think about Wolves a couple of years ago when they were literally rivaling in the top 6, looking like they might puncture into that bracket and they're down in 12th.
That's all their best players.
It happens. Then above them, Brighton in 7th position on 17 points. Newcastle also got 17 points. They're in 6th. 5th is Aston Villa on 22 points. 4th is Liverpool on 23. 3rd, Man City on 24. Arsenal also on 24 in 2nd. And leading the roost for now are the Spurs, Tottenham, 26 points, top of the table. They got Chelsea next at home. It's a big game to come. And then just looking at like the top goal scoring charts, because I think it's quite fascinating to see who's getting the goals and for what club. So Haaland leading the way, 11 goals. Behind him is Salah and Son, both on 8 goals each. Then it's Callum Wilson on 7. Jared Bowen, Wang Hee-chan and Isaacson and Brian Mbeumo all on 6 goals apiece. Ferguson and Nketiah on 5 goals apiece. That hat-trick does a lot for you,
Yeah.
In the assist market, you've got Pedro Neto top with 7 assists, and he's out injured. He's going to be out for a little while. Hopefully, it's not too bad of an injury, but it looks quite bad. Trippier's got 6 assists in 2nd place. Then Maddison and Ollie Watkins both got 5 assists, which is good for Ollie Watkins. Kufal and Mo Salah on 4 assists each. And then Julian Alvarez, Richarlison, and Musa Diaby and Elanga all on 3 assists each.
Wow. Decent.
Bad. In terms of clean sheets, which I think will all be quite interesting to hear, top of the bar, there's 1, 2, 3, 5 goalkeepers tied on 4 clean sheets.
Rare.
They are Sam Johnson, Nick Pope, David Raya, Edison, and Vicario at Spurs.
Wow.
Alisson Becker, Mark Flecken, Bernd Leno, Robert Sanchez all have 3 clean sheets, and Emiliano Martinez has 2. Explains why Raya gets the picks, guys. That's why he's in the number 1 shot position. But that's quite good and quite interesting to see in terms of like how things are shaping up. I think definitely Haaland is catchable this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if Heung-min Son gets 25 goals this season because he's tracking for that kind of number. I think Wilson might get around 20 because with him it's a bit weird because he's on a good run, but he always kind of peters out, takes his while to pick back up again. Salah will be in that 25 bracket, no problems. The question is, for the players below them, can they join them? Will Jared Bowen hit 20 goals in the league? He's on 6 right now. He's doing really well for a wide player. Wang Yi-chan, again, could be looking to... I mean, if he gets 20, Wolves will definitely finish in the top 10. So that's going to be important for them. We'll see what they do. Obviously, looking ahead to the next set of games, we already mentioned a few of them. Everton, Brighton, what are you expecting? And it's at Goodison Park. Brighton need a bounce back, as you said. Everton want to carry on the momentum. Draw. Man City, Bournemouth at the Etihad.
Home win.
Sheffield United, Wolves at Bramall Lane.
Away win.
Arsenal, Newcastle at St James's Park.
Win. Home win. Away win.
That's going to be a big one. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
We're going to have to be at our A game, but it's the kind of game that we should be winning if we want to win the league. Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa at the City Ground, Nottingham.
Villa win.
And then Luton, Liverpool at Luton Town's Kenilworth Stadium.
Liverpool win.
And then the big one on Monday Night Football, Spurs versus Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I want Chelsea to win, but I think it's going to be. I think Spurs.
We all want Chelsea to. We all want Tottenham to lose.
Well, I say either Chelsea win or draw. Pochettino's got a lot. Pochettino come back to Spurs. He's going to have a lot to prove, and he's going to want to win against his former club. He's going to get a lot of abuse on that day, but he's going to want to win.
I'll make a prediction right now. Mudrik's going to score again. That's it.
And Chelsea will be. I think Chelsea will be up for this game as well. It's a big game against their rival, so he'll be up for it. They'll be up for it. He'll get them. If he can play like how he played against Arsenal in the first half, they'll beat Spurs.
Yeah, my only concern with Chelsea is they're too open in the middle, and the fact that we didn't exploit that more is annoying. But the way how Spurs attack, because they do kind of go through the middle, it could be really, really bad for Chelsea if they don't sort out their problems with their central midfield pairing and getting that balance right. Because if they allow Spurs to run through the middle of the pitch, it could be a very long day for them.
What about the Man United game? Who's Man United playing?
I already covered that. They're playing against Fulham away from home.
United win.
And then Brentford at West Ham at the G-Tech Community Stadium, Brentford.
And Brentford will win that.
Well, we'll see how those all go. And like we said, the Balon d'Or is being announced very shortly. We expect Messi to get his record eighth title. The key question is going to be who's going to finish second and third. There's rumours that it's going to be Mbappe third. I think Mbappe should finish second, personally, because the season he had. I understand that was a good season that Haaland had in winning the treble, but you don't score a hat-trick in a World Cup final and not be up for the Balon d'Or. I'm sorry. It's the World Cup. He got a hat-trick and still lost. What more can he do? But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And that will be it for us signing out. Next time we'll be discussing all the wonderful stuff in football, and we'll probably cover Unai Emery's work of strikers because it's quite astounding the players he's managed and how well they performed. That's us signing out. Have a good rest of the day.
Peace.